Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're going to jump into this simple but honestly pretty profound idea that every single promise we hear about has one single definitive center. An ultimate yes that then leads to our amen. So this verse right here, this is really our starting point. It's from 2 Corinthians, and it's absolutely packed with meaning. It's making this huge claim that every promise from God, no matter how many there are, finds its complete fulfillment in one place. So what does that even mean? A definitive yes. And how does that lead to our amen? Let's unpack that. So first things first, let's really get a handle on what this yes is all about. It's not just, a casual nod of agreement. It's being presented as the final, ultimate confirmation of, well, everything.
When we think about God's promises, it's easy to think of them as these, vague hopes, right? But the idea here is that they're solid, they're actual commitments. And the core concept is that all of these promises made across all of time all point to and meet at a single unifying answer. And that answer is a person.
Okay, so if all these promises point to one place, the big question is, who or what is at the center of it all? This idea of a single fulfillment point is absolutely crucial to the message we're exploring.
What's being said here in Colossians, it's just staggering when you really stop and think about it. It's positioning Jesus not just as part of the picture, but as the agent, the entire purpose, and the very force holding it all together. Everything you can see, everything you can't see, it was all made through him and for him. And that really boils it all down to this one crucial point. If everything was created and is held together through Jesus, then logically, to make anything happen, you've got to start with him. He is that definitive yes. All right, so that's a huge cosmic level idea, right? We're talking about the whole universe. But what's so powerful is how this gets brought right down to a deeply personal level. This isn't just about how creation works. It's about how this yes applies directly to you. So how does that cosmic yes get personal? Well, John's gospel tells us it became tangible. That word, the same creative power from Colossians, became a person and literally lived among us. Think about that. The promise wasn't some distant idea. It showed up on our doorstep. And here's where it gets even more personal. It goes from among us to in you. This is what's presented as the great secret, The fulfillment of God's promises isn't just some historical event out there. It's meant to be an internal, living reality. That yes from God is supposed to be living inside you. Okay, so let's dive into this next part because understanding this internal reality really helps clear up a common concept, confession. The source material suggests there's a pretty common misunderstanding about what it actually means to confess or speak out these promises. And you can see the two ways of thinking right here. It's a total paradigm shift. The common idea is that confession is a tool, something we use to try and make something happen. But the perspective here is completely different. Confession isn't about forcing an outcome. It's about aligning yourself with an outcome that's already been taken care of. It's an act of agreement, not an act of creation. So the takeaway is pretty clear. The power isn't in the act of you saying the words like it's some kind of magic spell. The power is in what Christ has already done, what he's already accomplished. Our confession, then, is more like an echo of his finished work, not the thing that causes it. And this really brings us full circle, doesn't it? If Jesus is the yes, then our part, our lives of agreement, become the amen. But what does that actually look like day to day? How do we live that out? Well, there's this incredible metaphor in the Gospel of John that lays it all out. Jesus calls himself the vine, the source of all the life and nutrients. And he calls us the branches. The life of that vine is what flows into the branches, and that's what makes the fruit grow. It's a relationship that's all about connection and dependence. So when you break it down, it's a pretty straightforward process, right? 1, you center your life on Jesus. He's the vine. 2, you stay connected. You remain in him. And 3, the fruit isn't something you have to strain and work for. It's just the natural result of being connected. And that's really the whole ball of wax right there. The core message is simple. Make Jesus the center. And why? Because in him, every single promise stops being just words on a page and becomes a living, breathing reality. He is the yes. So after all of that, it really just leaves us with one simple question to think about, to really reflect on. If he's the place where every promise becomes real, is he the center of your life? Thanks for joining us.